Hey everybody, welcome to No Jumper News. It's Adam22 here with your man AD. Let's get right into these stories. So first things first, Young Thug is facing backlash on social media after saying that he has more stadium anthems than Jay-Z. For most of his career, Young Thug has stayed away from the media and interviews, but recently he visited the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast hosted by Gilly the Kid and Wallow. During the conversation, Young Thug suggested that Hove doesn't have 30 songs under his belt that an arena of fans would know word for word. Let's play the clip.
We ain't talking about stream sales. We ain't talking about nothing. We talking about anthems. We talking about songs they know. Mm-hmm. Like, when I perform, I got 30, 40 songs that the whole stadium gonna know. They gonna know these motherfuckers. All 30 songs.
And that's some powerful shit.
Yes, Sirski.
There's not a lot of motherfuckers that can say that.
Nigga, Jay-Z ain't got 30 songs like that. What the whole stadium finna sing?
Parts of Thug's interview have been making the rounds online, and as you can assume, his controversial comments about Jay-Z have immediately become a trending topic. Gilly the Kid, trying to be friendly, does try to connect Thug by insisting that Jay does have many hits in his catalog. In response, Thug backtracks his comment a bit and explains that he was using Hove as an example. But many fans have still stuck to his original statement and have been quick to dish out criticism, saying that his comments were disrespectful. One user tweeted, "I love you, Thug. I really, really do. But you don't have this kind of stat line, so please use someone else's name." Freddie Gibbs tweeted out, "Da fuck," followed by a crying/laughing emoji. And G Herbo left a comment defending Thug, telling everyone to stop playing with slime. After receiving heavy backlash for about a day, Young Thug took to Instagram and posted a brief message to his story to clear up the comments, saying, "Don't have Jay-Z on me because of this internet shit. I was talking too fast, but y'all know what I meant." During his interview, Thug also entertained the possibility of a Versus appearance and said that he would want to go up against Lil Wayne. Thug's new comments about Jay-Z and Wayne came just a few weeks after he caused a commotion on social media, saying that he never paid any attention to Andre 3000 on T.I.'s Expeditiously podcast. Okay, AD, so you were actually watching this. I gotta admit, as a new father, I haven't actually seen this clip in its full context, but give me your initial impressions.
First off, shout out to my niggas Gilly and Wallow. Y'all watch their podcast, fire. Second, y'all stop playing with my slap, man. Thugger didn't mean it like that, man.
What did he mean? Explain what you think he was trying to get across.
I honestly feel like I think he was meaning to talk about the younger generation, because I can give a prime example. Me, when I was coming up, I was listening to Eminem a lot, and a lot of people used to like try to clown me, like, man, I can't rap Eminem songs and do all type of shit. So I feel like for his demographic, who people who like Young Thug really don't listen to Jay-Z like that. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm a Hove fucking fan. Hove got fucking Blueprint, one of the most classic fucking albums of all time. You know what I'm saying? We can continue to keep going like that, but I can see some younger artists, I'm not younger artists, but younger listeners on the South not knowing 30 or 40 Jay-Z songs.
This is the thing. I think Jay-Z is like the one old school rapper, meaning like a guy who had albums out in the 90s, one of the only older rappers who could actually go and do 30 huge songs and actually keep people on the edge of their seat. And I think that even a lot of the kids, the younger generation, might not necessarily realize how many huge monster hits Jay-Z had throughout his career that they know, even if they maybe don't know that they know. Now, another thing is that when you go see Young Thug live and you see Young Thug rock a fucking stadium for an hour or an hour and a half, and Young Thug has hits, and Young Thug has huge songs, and so many of them. Now, are they necessarily on the level of the Jay-Z songs? A lot of them probably not. I really do think that like Jay-Z, like people are underestimating how ridiculous his catalog is. But I think that a lot of this goes back to the thing about Thug, which is that a lot of people in the world today, they say whatever they want to say to get a reaction. You know, people always think that when they see Lil Pump saying something crazy, that Lil Pump is just trying to piss people off or whatever.
I feel that.
People with this, people think that Young Thug was just saying some crazy shit to get a reaction or to like, you know, coax a response out of Jay-Z. From my experience interviewing Young Thug, it's actually the total opposite, where Young Thug does not know how to control himself in the sense of like being strategic. He literally says everything that comes into his mind, which is what makes him a great rapper. And it's also what makes him a really interesting conversationalist, and why I think he was not feeling doing interviews for a long time. And we were just having this conversation that I think when I did my interview with him, that's what kind of made him realize, you know what, fuck it is cool to do interviews and shit, because then after my interview, he went and did Big Boy, and now we see him on T.I.'s shit on Gilly and Wallow. Thug, and it's interesting that he came through and sort of clarified his statement on his Instagram story, which is not something that Thug ever seems really like interested in doing. Like, he doesn't really seem like he's interested in having the discourse around what people misinterpret his comments to suggest. But I mean, it also says a lot about exactly how huge Thug is as an artist, that him saying anything that even sort of calls into question Jay-Z's legacy becomes a huge topic of conversation. I mean, people take Thug's word like fucking gold.
I agree, man. But, you know, Thug is one of the people that he stands on what he says. He's respectable. So even if he backtracks and says, I wasn't saying it like that, I believe that 100% that he wasn't putting it in that context and shit.
I mean, I honestly think that Young Thug and Lil Wayne would be the one versus that might actually happen that might be bigger than Gucci and Jeezy. Actually, I definitely think it would be bigger.
I think Jay-Z and Wayne should do that shit.
But I don't think Jay-Z. I think Jay-Z is so protective with his image that it would blow my mind if he actually did it.
I don't think Hov would do it versus. I don't think Beyonce would do it versus.
No.
I don't even think Drake would do the versus.
I mean, Jay-Z does something like publicly like a couple times a year. Like, he is the most rare exclusive celebrity rapper that we can think of. Like,
He's a fucking billionaire.
He does not go out lightly, and the idea that he would go out, and I feel like a big part of what has made Jay-Z's image and reputation so stellar over the years was this.
I got it.
What?
Hov and Diddy. That makes sense.
Different type of rappers, but either way.
They got. All right, go ahead.
I feel you, but okay. The thing that has made Jay-Z is that he has taken so few L's over the years. He got kicked in the elevator. He wrote a song called Death of Auto-Tune, and then Auto-Tune got way bigger.
Death of Auto-Tune was fire, though.
It was a good song, but it did not happen. His prophecy on that did not happen. But Jay-Z has taken very, very few L's. If he goes and does a versus battle against Lil Wayne or anyone, he's opening himself up to the possibility of at least a perceived L. And I think that is the thing about Jay-Z. He doesn't take risks.
I don't even think he cares about that part, because it depends on the demographic, who's rating whatever. And that's what I said. I feel that Thug's comments came from is like, you know, if you ask my little brother who would win in the versus battle between Thug and Jay-Z, they're gonna say Thug. You feel me? You ask somebody in your age range, right? Who's gonna win, Thug or Jay-Z? Not you personally, because I know how you feel about Thug. Somebody's gonna say Jay-Z.
I for the record would give it to Jay-Z, but I mean,
okay.
A lot of people, like Young Thug has been a huge one of, like, they're definitely two of, if I had to be honest, two like of the top 5 rappers I've listened to in my life, for sure. Young Thug and Jay-Z are in there, and I think that Young Thug is one of the only of the crop of current rappers, the only that could creep into my top 5. Like, my top 5 artists or rappers throughout my life has been relatively static. Young Thug is like the one younger, newer artist that I definitely think deserves some space in that category. But I think it also, think about the fact that when they talk about Jay-Z battling somebody on Versus, they don't talk about Jay-Z battling the other guys who were big during his era, which you're right, Diddy would be one example. I don't think anybody's really like discussed them battling so much, but they decide, we should put him against Lil Wayne, even though Lil Wayne is clearly like another generation or two after Jay-Z. It says a lot about the fact that Jay-Z is still that relevant. Nobody's saying like, we should do Jay-Z against Jadakiss. We all love Jadakiss, don't get me wrong, but I mean, Jay-Z just put down, like they are very much of the same generation, but Jay-Z just his impact is not comparable to nearly anyone in rap history.
Bro, Hov ain't never dropped a bad album.
No.
Ever.
Well,
what you think?
There's been a few that weren't,
Like what?
The album consistency starts to trickle off a little bit by the end. But I mean, it was a great run.
So you didn't like the 444 album? That shit was fire to me.
I actually think that was a good return to form.
What about the Magna Carta? The free one, the Samsung one. I like that shit too.
That was cool.
But 444 was fucking flames.
I should honestly go review some of these titles so I can have a more informed decision about this. But it doesn't matter, because when you talk about like when you say like Star Wars is like the greatest movie franchise of all time. I wouldn't personally say this. I've never seen it. But, a lot of people would say that. But when you say that, what are you talking about? You're really talking about the core Star Wars series, and then everything that comes afterwards. It's like, are you really judging the...
But
like, when I'm talking about Jay-Z, I'm talking about, no, there's like 8 albums that are damn near perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe 8. I forget exactly how many where it's like Golden Run.
12. Altogether, or 13. I don't know.
Good guy.
But Blueprint 1 is fucking can't be touched with.
You ever do this on the club?
Hell yeah. Throw up the rock.
The rock! You bastards.
You bastards.
Either way, shout out to Thug. Shout out to Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And Happy New Year. And shout out to AD.
Happy Chinooka.
All right, YouTubers, do us a favor. Like, comment, and subscribe. Head on over to nojumper.com. Cop some merch. And we'll see y'all real soon.